What's up? What's up? What's poppin'? Hey, yo, it's NateDoggSac916 coming at you live once again. Happy Veterans Day to all those that served in any of our wars. I appreciate y'all keeping it safe. Y'all already know what to do, man. Hit that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Go down in the comments and put your comments down. If you got anything to say to me direct, or if you got anybody that you believe want to interview, get at me on Instagram at NateDoggSac916. I'll get back at you. I promise you. But if you want some bull crap, don't even waste your time. Hey, but let's get back into this, man, live from level 4, man. So at the end of our last conversation, bro, first of all, let me start this out right. Top of the morning, brother.
Hey, top of the morning to you, man. How you feeling today?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm 100 over 100. And in some people books, that's perfect.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Yeah. So the last time we talked, we had talked about you was in the county jail getting ready to go to prison. You got into the fight with the boy who shook the bars and let it out. And I ended that video at you saying that you looked at it as a jewel in another jewel in your crown, but really all it was another bar in the prison you were creating for yourself. So you left the county jail headed towards prison, correct?
Right. So, yeah, I caught the chain, to reception center. And, that last story I shared was important for this reason, right? People think that peer pressure is always something that somebody puts on you from the outside. But sometimes peer pressure can be something that you put on yourself from the inside. And that's what I meant when I said that I thought I was putting a jewel in my crown, but I was really dropping a prison bar in place,
Right.
I started to create this image. I became, the personification of what I thought I needed to be an authentic black man journeying through this prison system journey that I was about to take,
Right.
And that created obligations within myself to behave a certain way, which, we know that the script says we have to meet all challenges with no hesitation. And if you hesitate or if you falter, as the young brother did that shook the bars,
Right.
that carried on with you. That had repercussions, So, I brought that mentality with me into prison. I went to reception center, which is basically where they decide where you'll be doing your time and in what area of the state.
Right.
So at the time I get to reception, right, I'm young and I feel like, okay, I need to continue to build my trajectory. I need to get through this time and make sure I do it in a way to where I can come back to the block and hold my head high. So I get there and I go see one of the staff that basically interview you and see where you'd like to go. And, I told them I didn't care. Send me wherever. Prison was going to be prison wherever I was.
Right.
And so at this time, they had a new prison. It's an old prison now, but it was a new prison back then. We're talking the early 90s. And I went to open up a prison called Ironwood. And it's way down in the Blythe Desert. It's in Blythe, California.
Okay.
And what I didn't understand at the time was what it meant to open a yard up.
Right.
Prison is I know in the movies people think prisons are just like the Wild Wild West. It's just, no rules, anything goes. And in a sense, they are they can be that way. But more than anything, they're highly organized, highly regimented places, places that are run and controlled by rules that the prison staff puts on you, but then also rules that we put on ourselves. And we call those prison politics. And so that opening that prison yard up presented unique challenges because everybody, every group, every tribe that exists in prison, every gang wants their own area and their own territory where they can feel safe and where they can feel like this is our land. We are going to subdue this land.
Right.
And from that mindset, there are areas that are considered more strategic than others.
Right.
They may not want an area that's right up under the gun tower, where they feel like they're under constant observation by the gunner and the cops. They might want an area that's strategically located in between the basketball courts and the restroom. The parts of the prison yard that are going to be most highly trafficked. So they might want an area that's close. Go ahead.
So let me ask you a question. So does it end up being does it usually end up being the the less aggressive, or the number that has the organization or group that has the less numbers that ends up with that area that's right up under the tower?
Well, not necessarily. Generally, yes. But really, it's like when a yard first opens up, the dudes who have the more experience, the G's, what I hate this term, right? But I'm going to use it. The so-called shot callers, which is a myth, but that's a story for another day.
Right.
They're the ones that kind of will meet from different tribes and kind of sort things out. And if it can't be handled in a diplomatic way, well then inevitably violence is going to follow. But there's kind of a rule that overarches all of it, and that rule is never ask for something that you don't have the strength to take.
Right.
And that's kind of, do you understand what I mean by that?
Oh, I absolutely understand. But go ahead and break it down for the people.
For the listeners, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
So basically what that means is if we feel we want this area, and we being my tribe, no matter what it is, Crip, Blood, Southerner, Northerner, Wood, Nazi, whatever it is, right?
Right.
If we feel we want this area, and we go to the meeting and say that we want this area, once we verbalize that we want this area, we basically are saying this is our area. And we wouldn't ask for it unless we felt like we had the strength to take it.
Right.
So you have to be strategic in what you ask for, because if somebody else wants that area and they have their mind made up that they want that area, and here you are making a public claim for it, there's only one solution to that.
Right. And that's war. And you're saying that's war?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes not. Sometimes it's slaughter.
Right. Absolutely.
And sometimes you're not going to win that.
All right. Well, so you guys open up Ironwood.
Right.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So did the opening and structuring of the first yard go smoothly?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. I'd been in prison about 6 weeks when I saw my first incident, and it was between two groups. One group of inmates from Southern California, and one group of inmates from Fresno.
Okay.
And the group from Fresno, what's up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the group from Fresno was smaller in number, but they were more bold in their approach. But unfortunately, sometimes boldness isn't enough to just counter sheer numbers. And when this is something else that people don't really, I don't think, understand, and that's that when there's going to be a conflict on a mass scale, there's going to be a war, there's going to be a melee or a riot or what have you. 9 times out of 10, everybody knows about it. Probably even the group that's going to catch the worst. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we out on the yard, and we know this is going to happen. So me and the tribe that I affiliated with, we were blacks, so this didn't really concern us, but we still had to have our security up. So we stepped against the wall, out the way, kind of just watching things. And I proceeded to see the way that the larger group from Southern California, basically it was almost military in the precision with which they attacked the smaller group. I saw them break up into small clusters and form a triangle, which basically surrounded this group, and then they just came together. And it wasn't even close.
Right.
And I remember how that impacted me. I was 19 at the time, and I remember how that impacted me. And I remember thinking that this is not a playground. Like that's when I knew that prison was serious. A lot of dudes got stabbed up. A couple dudes got shot, and it was where I was like, okay, no, really, you could die here. Like this could happen.
Absolutely.
It formed the way that I wanted to be, because what I didn't want to be more than anything else was the person on the gurney. They had these little it almost looked like a forklift, and there's a little button looks like a little bitty canoe with rails underneath that they can slide it on. They used to drive them out on the yard and put people on them and then drive them off. And I thought, okay, well, now of course,
You talking about the bobsleds? You talking about the bobsleds?
The little cart. I didn't think they would know that term, right? But it's the
Oh.
little cart they used to drive on. They can stand up on.
Oh yeah, the orange stands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought, and if you remember from earlier parts of my story, I told you that really, I learned at an early age that violence equals safety, and this just reinforced it.
Facts.
It reinforced that the group.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
The group that was the most vicious, the group that was the most violent, was the one that ultimately triumphed.
Right.
And I made a decision that day, 6 weeks in, that I wanted my group to be more vicious, more violent, and to be bigger than any other group, because to me that represents safety in this world in which I place myself. And so I set about learning how to do that.